Hi, hola, hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, my baby's sleeping over there, and I know I haven't been posting for a long time and I'm slacking like so much, but today I'm gonna be doing a little get ready with me, so I won't be just like talking into the camera like all like boring or whatever. So yeah, I'm just do a little get ready with me, and I'm gonna be doing my labor and delivery story today, so I'm super excited. So stay tuned and keep watching. Okay, so I remember it was November 8th on a Friday. I went to my daily checkup, and this checkup was just to see, like, to check the baby's weight, like in my belly, and like tell me like approximately when I'll be going into labor, you know, to see if like the baby was down and ready and everything. Because I used to go every Fridays for my checkups with my mom, because my mom didn't work on Fridays, so she would just take me. Oh, we had 2 appointments that day. There was one to check like what I told you guys, to check the baby, like the weight, and like to see his position, to see if he was ready or not. And then there was the other appointment, which was right across the hall. Was at, you know, it was just, I think, like a sonogram for the baby, or I think it was for me. I don't really remember, but I had 2 appointments that day, and I only made it to 1. So that day we went, my mom parked outside, whatever. We went up and they checked me, they checked the baby, they said everything was fine. How am I feeling? And I was like, good. They asked me if I was getting any contractions, and I was like, no, not really. Like, I felt fine, you know, I felt perfectly good, everything was fine. And the nurse that checked me, she was like, okay, everything's fine. Like, she told me everything's fine, let me just consult something with the doctor and I'll be right back. And I was like, okay. So I went to the bathroom to, like, you know, put my pants back up, whatever, and like clean the gel thing that they put for the sonogram. And yeah, and then my mom was running out of time for like the meters in the car, so like she went downstairs to go put more coins, because she said everything was fine. So, you know, she just went down and she's like, I'll meet you on the other side. And I was like, all right. So she left, and then I waited in the room, and I realized they were taking forever to come back into the room and tell me like anything. But I was just there. I didn't think nothing. And then I see the doctor comes in, and it was a guy. And he was like, hey, Victoria, how you feeling? And I was like, good, thanks. You know, like, I'm fine. He said, okay. He was like, he literally said, that's great. We're sending you to the hospital. And I was like, what? I was like, how come? And then he told me, oh, because you're gonna have the baby, like, we're ready, like, you're ready, you're gonna have the baby. And he told me it's because I've been losing too much fluids. Like, I can never pronounce the word right, but it's like the the amniotic,
you could you do you want you could do so you.
Okay, I'll just put it down here so you guys can read it, because I really don't know how to pronounce it. He said that I've been losing too much of that, and that they wanted to like, to prevent anything, that they were gonna provoke my labor so I could have the baby now, because he had very little room to move. And, you know, God forbid anything bad would have happened, and like he could have suffocated and I could have lost my baby, but thank God I didn't. So yeah, so I remember then I was like, oh my god, okay. I was like, okay, thanks. Like, I was like, do I need anything? I was like, can I go back home, like, get my diaper bag, you know, like my hospital bag, all this, all that? And he was like, no. He's like, go to the hospital right now. And I was like, okay, you know, like, I was super nervous. I was like, oh my god, but I had this cheesy smile on my face. I was like this the whole time. And I remember I went to the other side and I told my mom, I just grabbed her hand and I was like, we're going to the hospital. And she was like, what? She was like, what do you mean? She was so nervous and she was like, wait, what? And then she was like, what about this appointment? And I was like, and then there was a lady there that she obviously knew us because we used to go like every week. Because like at the end of your pregnancy, you go like every week for your checkups. I was like, I'm gonna have my baby, and then she was like, okay, good luck. And then yeah, so then yeah, I basically just let her know I wasn't gonna make it to the appointment. But the guy told me anyway that he was gonna call the hospital just to say my name, and they would already know like I'm supposed to go. Why is my eyebrow so white? What the heck? Okay. Anyway, so yeah. So we got to the hospital. My mom told me to. She was like, oh, do we go back home? And I was like, no. I was like, he said just to go straight there now, like just to go straight. And then we started calling everybody. My mom called my dad, telling him, oh, I'm gonna go to the hospital with Vicky now. She's gonna have her baby. I called my boyfriend and I was like, hey, I'm gonna have the baby. I'm on my way to the hospital. He was like, whoa. He was so like excited and nervous. And it was like, yeah. So we got to the hospital and okay, yeah. So we got to the hospital and then they just asked me a few questions. They were like, oh, how many weeks are you, da da da. Like, since I wasn't like, my water didn't break or nothing, like I was like okay, because I felt like I didn't have to panic, like, oh, and I didn't really have like any contractions or anything at the moment either, so I was feeling fine. Bro, you're on my video. So then they called me into the room and then they just made me take my clothes off and put the hospital hospital the hospital robe, and then yeah, and then I was just waiting in there and I was still feeling fine. And then they were giving me medications to like provoke my labor, like for me to have contractions and for my cervix to open up and all this, all that, which at the moment I was fine because I didn't feel nothing. Oh, by the way, this all happened like my appointment for Fridays were usually like around 12, like midday, like 12, and then they sent me to the hospital. I was probably in the hospital like at 1 or 2, like at 1 or 2 I was already in there and everything. And then my boyfriend came like around 3 because he had to work, and then he got out of work and he came at 3. And then he came with his mom, and it was just my mom, his mom, and him and me, and that's it. Oh, and the baby. But yeah, and we were just there chilling and everything. And then they made me walk a lot. Like the whole time passed, I had to walk, and they had a little yoga ball. I was trying to bounce on that. And yeah, but I remember literally the whole day passed and nothing. Even at night and nothing. And like they checked my cervix to see how much I opened up. Throughout the whole day they gave me medication like almost like maybe it was like every hour or so, and I was only 2 centimeters dilated, and I needed to be at least 8 centimeters dilated in order to give labor and start pushing. But yeah, so I was literally like nothing dilated for like almost the whole day, and I was getting so upset because I started crying because I was like, I'm not opening up. Like I was like, oh, this is gonna take forever, and this and that. Then, ladies and gentlemen, I started feeling contractions, like really bad contractions. I did not know those were contractions. They feel like cramps, but like 100 times worse. 100 times worse. But I was like, I could handle this, I could handle this, I could handle this. So I kept walking and kept walking, and then it was a point where I was like, oh my god, I can't handle this. And my contractions would come like maybe every 20 minutes. It's a long time, but I was scared for every 20 minutes. So yeah, so my contractions were really bad, and I was super scared, and I was just like crying. At this point I was already crying because I wasn't opening up, like my cervix wasn't opening up more than 2 centimeters, that I was dilated, and that's it. And then I kept hearing that whole night and the whole day, everything, I kept hearing just women crying, screaming and pushing and screaming, and that got me even more scared. But it's okay, because I was like, okay, I know for a fact, like, I don't need to scream, because screaming doesn't like help. Maybe it might help some women, but I didn't really scream, to be honest with you. I got my epidural because I got the epidural because I really couldn't, like, I could not anymore. Mostly because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten the epidural if I knew that I was opening up, but I really wasn't, because I got my contractions and everything, and they checked me, and then I was only 3 centimeters dilated. Like, I only dilated 1 centimeter, like, throughout the whole day. And, like, even at night, like, the whole night, honestly, like, I didn't even feel like when the whole day passed by, like, I thought it was still Friday or whatever, but it wasn't. So yeah, so then I was super, like, I was crying, I was in pain, and then that's when I was like, I need the epidural, like, I don't care, I want the epidural. And they told me, okay, once you get the epidural, you can't eat anymore, you can't go use the bathroom, you can't stand up, you have to be in bed, and that's it, period. And I was like, okay. So I was like, let me eat, let me use the bathroom, let me go for one more walk, and then let me get the epidural. So I ate something not that heavy, but I ate because they were like, if worse comes to worse and I don't end up dilating, they're gonna have to do an emergency C-section on me, and like, you can't really like have like food or something, like, I don't know, bro. And I asked for the epidural, and they took everyone out the room just to give me the epidural. And I remember it was like 2 nurse ladies came in, and like, one of them looked really mean, and the other one was supposed to like take care of me, so she just stayed in the room because, like, she was always in the room, you know, that, like, I was her room, like, I was her job or whatever. So I was in the room, and they were giving me the epidural, and they were like, okay, she was like, okay, mamas, from a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is your pain? And I was like, like, I don't want to sound too like, but I wanted to, like, and I was feeling pain, you know. So I was like, maybe an 8. And she was like, okay. So then she was just talking to the other nurse, and she told me to like put my head down. So I was like this, and she was like, don't move, stay still, stay still. And I was like, okay. And then there was a point where I was feeling a really bad contraction, and like, every time I felt a contraction, like, I would feel like I need to breathe, like, take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. So I was like, so she was like holding my head and like trying to fix like I think as they put it in your spinal cord or something like that. So she was trying to like make it perfect, and she's like, don't move, don't move. I was like, wait, wait, I feel a contraction. She's like, don't move. And I was like, and I just had to like take it in, and like, oh my god, it was the worst, bro. I had to like take it in. And then she put it in, and then she checked, and she was like, she's like, I didn't do this right. So she took it out. She just freaking took it out, and she had to do another one. And I was like, oh my god, like, oh my god, I wanted to like, but I didn't. So she put my head down again, and then she was like, okay, stay still. And then she put it in better. And then, yeah, and then I got my epidural, and I didn't feel nothing. And then 2 minutes passed by, and I felt completely numb, bro. Like, I felt my legs were freaking huge. Like, they were like Bigfoot's legs or something. It was so funny. But yeah. And then I remember that then my boyfriend came in, and I told him that when I was getting the epidural, I don't know why, bro, but I told him that when I was getting the epidural, I just like pictured his face on a rubber ducky. Like, I really did. I don't know why, but I just did. But whatever. So then, yeah. So, he came in, and you know, and then I felt better. And I remember, I think after my epidural, we were all talking, like my mom, his mom, and me and him. We were just talking for like a good like 10-15 minutes, and then I remember I was like, I'm tired, so I knocked out. I don't know how long I fell asleep for, but yeah, when I woke up, guys, when I woke up, um then she asked me, she just told me to push. She was like, okay mama, she's like, when I count to 3, I want you to push. And I was like, okay. So she was like, okay, 1 2 3, push, 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 push. And I was pushing, and then she was like, oh, okay, yep. And she's like, okay, one more time, okay, but when I tell you to stop, stop. And I was like, okay. And she told me to push for like 3 seconds. She was like, okay, push. She's like, stop. And I was like, so I should stop. And then she called over the nurse. She was like, okay, she was like, she's ready, you see? She said, the baby's head is right there, she's ready. And I was like, I heard that, and me and my boyfriend looked at each other like, oh my god, like, it's time. And yeah, so she was like, okay, set up the room. She called over the other nurses to set up the room. So the nurse told me, she was like, hi. She was like, okay. She's like, you're ready, mamas, but she's like, don't push, okay? She's like, don't push anymore, don't push. You want to push, but don't push, okay? And I was like, okay. And then she was like, when I come back, we're gonna have the baby. And I was like, okay. Bro, as soon as she left the room, I had the urge to push. Like, it's like an urge that you can't stop. Like, it's just a feeling like you just gotta push. So she left, and I told my boyfriend, I was like, babe, I was like, I have to push. And he was like, no. He was like, no. The nurse said not to push. And I was like, but I have to push. I was like, I don't know, I feel like I have to push. And then he told me, don't push. And then and then I was like trying to like hold it in, but I didn't want to hold it in because I was like, this whole time, oh, my baby woke up. Okay, he's playing. I was like, oh my gosh, and I was complaining, and I was like, I have to push, but I was trying to hold it in, but at the same time I wasn't. Yeah, papa. But at the same time I wasn't, because I was like, it took me so long to have him like get dilated. Like, I don't want him to like go back up or something. I don't know what was going through my head, but yeah. And then after a while of like hearing me complain, the nurse that was in my room that was supposed to take care of me, she's like, okay mamas, she's like, on a scale from 1 to 10, how bad is your pain? And I told her, I was like, I straight up looked at her and I was like, it's no pain. I was like, I have to push. And then she looked at me, and she looked down there, and she panicked. Like, I'm guessing like he was there, you know. She was like, okay mama, she's like, just breathe, okay, I'm gonna go get the nurse, just wait. And then yeah, so she went, and like some nurses came into the room. It was like 4, I'm guessing. I think it was 4. And actually the nurse that was supposed to help me deliver, she didn't help me deliver. The one that delivered me was my midwife. So she was like, she's like, I'm gonna help you deliver the baby. Just keep calm, you know, and then this and that. So she helped me set up. I put my legs up, all this, all that, how you're supposed to, the right position and everything. And then that's what she told me. She was like, okay, are you ready? She's like, every time you feel a contraction, push. And I was like, okay. But mind you guys, I had my epidural, so I couldn't really feel like a bad contraction. So I was like, okay, I have to push. She's like, okay, ready, push. 1, 2, 3, push, 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 push. Okay, now breathe. Da, da, da. And I was pushing. I pushed like twice, and then I was like, and then I kept telling her like, I have a contraction, I have a contraction. And then she was at one point, she was like, she told the nurse, she's like, do me a favor. She's like, does she have a contraction? Because you know, like in the meter thing, she like keep track of your contractions. Like, does she have a contraction? She's like, no. She's like, that's what I thought. And I was like, it's like, oh, I was like, I thought I did. But I knew I didn't because I couldn't feel my contractions like that anymore. So then I was pushing. He probably took like about 5 pushes and he was out. And I was like, ah. And then everyone was so happy. I was crying of joy because you came into the world. Mwah. They were setting up to go into the room. Oh, by the way, he was born November 9th, 2019 at 10:56 p.m. 10:56. Ya, la cámara. Chichi. I'm trying to film a YouTube video. A video, yeah. Hey guys, so it is currently nighttime. My phone ended up dying, so I couldn't finish recording the video. But I'm gonna just try to make it short and simple for you guys of what happened next. Not many people know this part of the story, but I fainted. Yes, I freaking fainted right after giving birth. I don't know, I just got up like to go use the bathroom before going into the room where you get to have your visits, and in my head I thought, oh, I got up too fast, but I took 2 steps and the room just went and I just fainted. And the nurse was like, okay, well, from there I don't remember, but what people told me, by people I mean my mom and my boyfriend, what they told me was, well, my mom, she said that like 2 or 3 nurses came running into the room, and one of the nurse, like I guess like the main nurse or whatever, or doctor, I'm guessing she was a doctor. She came in, she was like, oh, she was like, I don't like the color on this girl's face. And my mom looked at me and she said like I was pale, like pale to like a point where you could see green in a person. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense, right? So my mom saw me and she was super worried. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, mi hija, ay, mi hija. Anyway, she was like, oh my god, mi hija. And she was like she said that she was scared, like she really thought that she was gonna lose me. And my boyfriend, he said that he overheard that another nurse was saying, oh my gosh, she's losing a lot of blood, she's losing a lot of blood. Some, like, a nurse said that I lost 400 ounces of blood after my delivery. So yeah, I lost a lot of blood and I passed out. And the thing that I remember, like when I came back, I guess, to life or whatever, I remember a nurse was like putting something like in my nose, like making me smell something. It was like super strong, like like alcohol, like super strong, like a disinfecting alcohol. And I just remember she's like, Victoria, she was calling my name. And I was like waking up. And I just remember the wallpaper, the flower wallpaper, and like, yeah, she's like, are you okay? Are you here? Like, are you okay? And I was like, mm-hmm. And she's like, are you okay? Like, can you breathe? And I was like, She's like, what do you feel? And I was like, dizzy. And then they went and they bought an oxygen tank. And I remember, like, that smelled like so bad. Like, it smelled like such bad air. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense, like I said. So yeah, it was like super bad. I don't know. But at the end, everything was fine. Thank God I'm here and alive making this video for you guys. And yeah, so that's my labor and delivery story. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you actually made it up to this point, thank you so much. I'm trying to make my comments undisabled, but YouTube keeps blocking my comments, mostly because I keep showing my baby in my videos, and you know, when YouTube sees a minor, they just automatically block the comments. I try not to show him that much in this video, but I pray that like my comments are not disabled, and if they're not, I want you to comment a hey girl with the peace sign emojis. Alright, anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I love all of you, even though I know I have very little subscribers, but I still love all of you. Thank you for the support. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I promise you I'll be back with more videos.